I'm John Thomas Pryor. You're listening to Night Jams, Free Flow's podcast about art and culture and sometimes other things. Go ahead. I'm with Colton Firestone.
Hi.
Yeah, let's cue the opener. Corey, what are we doing today?
It's looking pretty good. Thinking about we changed some stuff
Elon
up,
has
you know?
to fight his worst enemy, himself.
Yeah! Too much power!
Under a building. What compelled you to do this?
Well, you see, there's this guy named Corey, and he was like, hey, you should do that. And I was like, no. And then I did. Why did I do it?
It's got kind of a weird structure for a movie because it was originally shot as a TV pilot.
I'm gonna do it with a little bit more speed. I came in and there's a camera and I was like, ah. This is gonna be a quality podcast.
Quality. Only quality. And then we edit, and then the opener plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we can just... Colton brought these amazing root beers. If you didn't see the vlog, yeah.
Yeah.
Bundaberg root beer.
Australian.
It's got a little kangaroo on it. Wow, that's awesome. So Colton, you used to be a coach at Free Flow?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long did you work for us here?
I worked consistently for about a year, and then on and off for another year after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you and Paige started parkour like at a park?
Yeah. So she showed me this video back when I was in high school, well, when I was in middle school, and I thought it was super cool, parkour and everything. And she was like, "Hey, your brother, we should all go to Silverado, which is the middle school I went to, and practice parkour." And so we did. Obviously that went over well with my teachers because I would start doing it after school and there would still be teachers there and I would get yelled at, "Hey, get off of there, get out of here, you can't be doing that here." Yeah, so that's kind of how I got my start. I got my start on cement and on railings.
Yeah.
Climbing buildings. It's really stupid, but it was fun and it taught.
Yeah, that's where I learned.
Taught me some good lessons fast.
No, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Any notable stories of working at the gym, or what is the difference between teaching yourself and teaching others, and how did that make you better at parkour?
So
in a whole.
Yeah, teaching myself. Most of it was from videos or other things I'd seen, and one thing I was able to do with myself that I can't do with the kids at Free Flow is I was able to kind of like yell at myself almost mentally. I didn't just scream at myself in the middle of the park like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, no, I just push myself hard, and it's difficult to do that with younger kids. But what I liked about training for myself was that I could do what I wanted, and I could train for myself, work on specifically what I needed to work on. But one thing working here is I had to keep in mind everyone else's flow, how everyone else was doing, and I had to be more sensitive to when people couldn't do things than I was with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be really hard on myself when I couldn't succeed at something, almost to an unhealthy point, like to where it was like pushing myself past somewhere I shouldn't be going past. But here taught me to be a little bit more understanding, like of where I'm at for one thing, but also where everyone else is at, and how to gauge that, how to teach them at their level.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of just one problem I had with myself when I was learning is I would try to do these tricks and stuff that I just wasn't at the level to do. But here taught me to teach the students at their level. You can't teach them at your level, obviously. And so I brought that into my own training. I would teach myself at the level I was at. I wouldn't try to go for things that I knew were too dangerous or too reckless or just too hard for me to do. And I would train little by little, working up to that, which I hadn't really done in the past. I would just kind of go for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's just like big risk taker. He's like, I'm just going to throw it.
When I was younger.
Yeah. Is there like a particular move that you got that was like an example of that you like started training at a more like a better risk assessment kind of level where you're like, oh, I'm gonna like work the progression up to this? And
Well,
and then you got it.
First, I'll give you an example of when I didn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so when we were first all learning together, and Paige was already a coach here, so Paige knew what she was doing. She could teach us, but I would go out on my own, and I'd practice, and I wanted to start learning flips. And so I kept trying to get myself to do it, but I couldn't. And eventually, Paige and I were out together at the park, and then there's a bark area, a little lift, and cement next to it.
Oh.
So eventually, I forced myself to, like, with Paige's help of forcing myself to, I started doing front flips and side flips there. And the first couple, I definitely landed on my back.
Oh, dang.
Because I was not at the level to be doing that.
Yeah. Riding the bark.
Yeah, thankfully I was going on to bark. But I was just not physically or like skill-wise at the level to be doing that. And I could have hurt myself seriously. I didn't.
Yeah.
But I totally could have like ran myself the wrong way. And that would have sucked. But eventually I got them. So you can go the hard way, which is that, and the dangerous way. And like it can work, but like that taught me a lesson of like it also like you can hurt yourself pretty bad. The more gradual stuff, when I got older, the biggest change was actually after I had to have a knee surgery.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So about, what is it, a year, 2 years, a year?
Huh.
I think a year ago.
What made you have the knee surgery in the first place?
Well, it was stupid. I was teaching a birthday party, and I did a cool run. I was showing them an obstacle course, and I did the obstacle course, and then I did a flip, and then I was walking away, and one of my steps, my knee just went out on me, like when I was just walking, and I couldn't, it was stuck in one position. I couldn't unbend it. It was super freaky at first.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like what angle would you say?
About 90 degrees.
Like 9-degree angle.
Stuck at. So
Just
it's hobbling around like that.
Weird.
Yeah, so I had my surgery for that a few months later, and I couldn't do anything really with my legs, so I started wanting to do stuff with my arms. And I got into calisthenics more so than parkour at that time, just because I couldn't really do parkour. And I just wanted to muscle up so bad. I wanted to be able to do it. But I could barely even do like 5 pull-ups. So with that, I was like, I'm not just going to try and do a muscle-up every day until one day I eventually get it. I was like, let's work up slow, because this is a big thing. It's pulling yourself all the way on top of a bar and doing a push-up on a bar. It's like, it was a big thing. And I could barely even do like 5 pull-ups. So with that, I just took it in steps, and I started with like, I'm gonna get 12 pull-ups. I was able to do that consistently every day.
Every day you're doing 12 pull-ups.
Yeah, that was just my goal. I didn't need to train a long time at it. Just I wanted to get it, and then just trying to pull up higher to where I was almost level with the bar, not quite on top
more
of it.
explosive.
Yeah, getting explosive pull-ups, and then I was only able to do 5, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna get to 12 of those, and then eventually I was able to get my muscle up, but it was one of the awkward ones where you go one arm then the other, and it's really awkward looking. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get 12 of those. I was able to do 12 of those every day, and then after that, I started getting them a little more together. Like after I was training, just 12 a day, get them a little more together. And I eventually got a full muscle up with a kip. And it was just all building up. Like one thing just totally built on another. And then eventually it was just, okay, now I know I'm at the level where I can push myself harder. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a full muscle up from just hanging. No kip, no momentum, just hanging and pulling myself up completely. And I just sat there staring at the bar, and I'm like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And I tried it, and I got most of the way up, and I couldn't do it. And so that was just a bit discouraging at first. And then I worked on my technique, and then a few days later I had it, and I was able to do them. And yeah, so that's how I got my muscle ups. Just increments, building up to it. That was something that you can't get by just jumping into it and going for it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I find, like if it's a technique problem, you can work through it in a few hours.
Yeah,
But if it's just a strength thing,
yeah,
like sometimes you just have to get stronger before you can do that,
yeah,
and that's like way more dedication. So if you need to do something that takes more strength, like your muscle up, which I mean that's everyone's case, unless they've already built that strength.
yeah.
Totally. No, that's really good. What is your favorite pop culture character that you pull a lot of inspiration from?
What do you mean by character?
Like when we were training, like we were big fans of Dragon Ball Z, or like our just like group was super into it. And that's like when Dragon Ball Z Abridged came out, which is like a funny thing on YouTube, and like the group called like Team 4-Star did it. But like I was like like Cowboy Bebop and Bash the Stampede and like from Trigun, and there's like a lot of characters that like it's like, oh yeah, like I connect this guy, and like he's like got these cool morals, and he also is like this like master gunman, or so is there any like like a superhero character or someone like that?
Not someone like that necessarily, because it's weird. I don't know why it just kind of clicked with me, but it did. The Arrow, especially.
That's right. No, you got that.
Yeah.
You got that keychain.
Yeah,
Yeah, of Arrow. Totally.
I want to draw a picture of Arrow, but
You should.
yeah,
Dude.
Anyways, though.
Yeah, as we speak now, there is a what's that? 18 by 24
Yeah.
piece. Yeah, 18 by 24 drawing of Iron Man, just chilling. Yeah, so you totally do Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the DC in there. Okay, so Arrow.
It's interesting.
It's sometimes like shows, because like you're so into that character, like you will overlook, like just because like you dig like who that character is, and he finally got a show or whatever. Like sometimes you'll overlook like just some like obvious like flaws with like the show and things. I don't know, like Arrow to me was always like had this like soap opera feel. Yeah, and a lot of DC comics, that's like just a DC problem.
Yeah.
Like a lot of their storylines are very soap opera-y.
It's very like he's dating this girl, and then oh no, this girl, like yeah.
Yeah, and it's
There's
all
a lot
about
of
the
that.
family, and like it's like, oh, it's like you're.
Yeah.
And then Stephanie was totally kissing Chad. It's like just this like backroom gossip, and just the lighting in the show, and but like even through that, like like if you compare Arrow and that like production quality to like Gotham, did you ever see Gotham?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Gotham's like crazy intense, right? And it's
The
like
entire time.
yeah, and I mean I loved Zaz in that, because like he's an actor that has alopecia, so he doesn't have any hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was funny because he was always cast as like the pretty boy, and then when this was happening to him, he was like super annoyed, and then he got all these villain roles, and it was like really cathartic for him to like play out the villain, because like he was no longer like the heartthrob. But yeah, so it's like if you compare those two shows, like just the production quality on Gotham's like way better than, and it's like got a similar feel as Arrow. And I feel like if Arrow had that like the backing of Gotham, it'd be a totally different show.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but even like through that lens of like that weird production quality and the sets and the characters and everything, there's something about Arrow that is like talking to you, and you're like, oh, who's this guy?
For me, it's just I don't know. He had this list, and I don't have a list, to be clear, of people that were ruining his city.
No,
right?
no, Colton has a list. I've seen it.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's in his bag. I'm looking at it right now.
Don't tell me. Basically, people in his city that are ruining the city, and just are terrible for it, like high rollers, don't care about anyone but themselves. And at first he killed the people on the list, and he would go to each of them and he would give them a chance to redeem themselves, and if they didn't, he would kill them, right? And he was so dedicated to this list that he had to get done. He had to do this. There was nothing stopping him. That was him, was the list. And I feel like at the time, for me, I didn't have a list. I didn't have any stuff that absolutely, this is who I am. This is what needs to happen in my life. This is what I need to like represent and what I need to go for. I didn't really have a lot of that. And just his dedication to that task and that goal, and each of the killing people, but the little goals.
Those little goals.
Yeah. It was just cool to see him so intensely fighting for that.
Yeah, he's doing the salmon ladder. I remember that was a big thing in that show a lot. He had his little salmon ladder in his sweet bunker.
Yeah.
Because he did like, quite a bit of parkour in that show.
Oh yeah, he does parkour in real life.
Yeah, the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that actor's name? Do we know?
Stephen
McQueen. No.
I think it's like Stephen
Lamell.
Lamell, I think.
Lamell?
Yeah.
Stephen Lamell.
Yeah, because there's a YouTube channel. There's a funny video, and it's all about how they think he's beautiful. Basically, they like those scenes with the shirt off and then the salmon ladder. My heart belongs to a guy named Steve is like a line in their song. It's funny. That's how I remember his name.
Okay.
But yeah, so he does parkour in real life, and I just thought it was cool how he would just merge those two parts of his life together.
Yeah.
Thought that was super cool. And I don't know, there's just something about his personality too. He could be funny when he wanted to, but for the most part he was reserved and not like in the crowd.
Yeah.
He was super famous, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he's walking that Tony Stark, Bruce Wayne line.
Yeah.
Of playing up the Playboy persona.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does that in his own way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's kind of the B Batman in a lot of ways. Arrow.
Yeah.
I remember reading some crazy Justice League comic, and Arrow literally, and it's like classic Green Arrow. He's got the big like curly mustache and like goatee, and he's like, I'm not sure I can help you guys. Like he literally is like I'm just a dude with like a bow and arrow. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he teams up with like Blue Beetle, and they like take out a satellite or something that was like crucial to the plot. Isn't Identity Infinity or something like that? I can't remember. It was some crazy big old. I don't understand half the comic because a lot of like one page in the comic would get its own spin-off comic that like explained that random scene of some big guy crushing Atlantis, and you're like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. So it wasn't like a complete story. It had lots of like weird, like Easter eggs.
I didn't do comics. I didn't have much of a childhood.
Yeah, comics are hard to get into because of that reason. Like it's so hard to figure out like
Where to start.
Yeah, like where do you start? And like you go to the shelf, and like all these shelves are like monthly books that are coming out, and you're like when does this arc begin? Because like the comic might say like issue 200, but like or 250. But like a new arc started like 2 books ago. So if you bought like 2 books, they're on the shelf. You know, if you bought those 2 other books and that one, like you could like get this little story. But I don't know, it's not super clear all the time. Yeah, and yeah, nerds and people get really into it. And I was like, whoa.
I've never been that into something.
People are really into this.
Yeah, I don't have like a. Closest thing that I'm not into is like the Arrow show, and I'm not really that into it. Like, I don't know. That sounds contradictory, but like I'm not like obsessed with it. Like how people get obsessed with TV shows or comic books. Like
yeah. Funny story connecting to comics and Green Arrow. Green Arrow was created by a guy named Mike Grell.
Yeah.
And Mike Grell was a big comic book inspiration of mine. Because the first time I went to a comic store, it was A1 Comics, and they've got those like big white boxes full of like old comics.
You made comics too.
I did, yeah. And I was walking through, and there's in the W's, there's this huge, like 3 boxes full of just this one comic called The Warlord. And I was like, what is this comic? Like, it started in like 75 or something, and it went for like all these years, and it got like 300 books, and they had like all the books there. And you know, it was just like super successful comic. And I started picking up the issues and reading it. And the guy that made The Warlord also made Green Arrow. And Warlord looks a lot like Green Arrow, except he's got like white hair, he's got like the white curly mustache and beard, and he's got this cool sword. Yeah, it's like it's got like in that universe, it's like hollow Earth theory. So like the Earth is like hollow, and
you can go inside.
Yeah, you can go
Cool
inside.
stuff.
And there's like dinosaurs and like ancient cultures, and like Atlantis is in there.
Yeah.
And this like American pilot in like the Cold War, like tries to fly over the North Pole to get away from like a Russian missile or something, and he flies into the planet on accident, and he becomes the Warlord, and so he's like this crazy Air Force pilot gone medieval. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun series. And they rebooted it a while ago, and they even got Mike Grell to come back and draw it, so it was pretty neat.
That's cool.
Total random side tangent about the guy that created Green Arrow. Cool guy. You can find the videos of him drawing at conventions online.
That's cool.
He's got tons. The best line I heard from him was because he was going over like the pencils he was using.
Yeah.
And he had this pencil that like it was like super thick, and when you clicked the back, it was one of those like the prongs opened and like the lead slid through. But it was like the lead was massive. It must have been like 1/4 of an inch graphite.
Dang.
Like diameter of lead. It was just huge. And he's like, yeah, I was at an airport, and I saw this pin just like sitting in one of the kiosks. It was like and he saw that, and he's like, oh, I have to have this pencil because this pencil's too cool.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, if you're gonna live by the sword, you might as well have a cool sword. And that was his line. And I was like, that's
cool.
so funny. Yeah. So yeah,
That's cool.
random art inspiration of mine, Mike Grell. Good shout out. People should read old comics. They're fun. Yeah. So after you worked at Free Flow for a bit, you worked at a boxing gym. The 9 rounds.
9 rounds.
And now you're you didn't last there forever.
No.
We don't have to get into that if you don't want to. And now you're working at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Doing the Starbucks.
Yeah, no. One of the there were other reasons why I left 9 rounds, but one reason was it was too stressful on my body.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I ended up being worried about my other knee and like the same knee, like wondering if I had the same problem. Went into the doctors, and I was just like, this is too close. Like, I'm not gonna sit here kicking bags and punching bags and everything.
Yeah.
And I broke a knuckle.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it was too much to be doing for me. So that's one of the main reasons why I left. And yeah, I left, and then I didn't have a job for a while. That was fun. But now I work at Starbucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm always fascinated with people with confident plans. Like, that was the first thing that like really struck me with Matt, which is the Matt Stearns, the first podcast. Because he had such a solid, because like you talk to people, especially if you spend too much time at community college, everyone kind of has this story of like
life's gonna go this way.
Yeah, or like, oh, I'm just here like doing my general ed.
Oh yeah.
That line.
I feel like there's like a lot of the extremes.
Oh yeah.
Like you're one way or the other.
Yeah, you like, have no idea, or you're so laser focused.
Yeah, you're on it. But, yeah.
It's like, you know, the people you need to talk to the second you get out of college. You got your whole plan figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a lot of in between though. Like, yeah. I don't know. I know some people that are like Matt, that are like, I've got this solid plan. It's going this way. And I've got some people that are, I know some people, I don't know. I'm just here because my mom's making me go. Sorry, what were you saying about Matt being solid?
But yeah, now you're on the solid plan boat. You've got this whole nursing thing you're working towards.
Yeah.
Because you were... Did you change your major at all? Were you one of those people that like, oh, I'm changing my major again this semester, I'm going in there?
No. Well, I'm going to Sierra, so it's not like my major really matters necessarily.
That should be Sierra College's slogan. They changed their slogan recently.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
It used to be Dream, Learn, Do. Now it's something really dumb. I don't know.
What's that? Whose line is it anyways? Where the points don't matter?
Yeah.
Made up?
Yeah. I love that line. That's so good.
Where the majors don't matter and all the classes are made up. No, that'd be a bad logo or slogan.
That's my new slogan for my online university.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Pryor University. Yeah, where none of the certificates mean anything.
Yeah.
And you learn whatever you want. Become an expert, whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's just like YouTube.
What were we talking about?
It's
Anyways, nursing.
yeah.
Yeah, I was going for nutrition. Well, I was going for kinesiology to start with, and as I was like, oh, I don't know, I'll be a personal trainer. But then I was gonna go to William Jessup, but I didn't for some reasons. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
I probably should have, but I didn't, and that's cool. I go to Sierra now.
Yeah, because William Jessup is a 4-year school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's like a big private college. It's
I
like
have
a
more
big Christian
flexibility.
college.
If I wanted to do nutrition or I wanted to do like kinesiology, then I should have gone there. And that's what I wanted to do. But now I'm glad because I switched. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, we're drinking root beer and it's a little burpy.
Yeah.
I definitely turned away from the microphone a couple times.
Yeah.
No, it's good stuff. It's great root beer. I wish we had more. I drank all mine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I drank half the pack of the root beers already.
It's a little
before I
4-pack.
got
It's
here.
very cute.
What were we saying? Yeah.
Nursing.
Yeah, so for anyone that's listening, don't start with a 4-year college. This is what I learned from my experience, because I never liked hospitals, never wanted to be in a hospital, but I thought being an EMT was cool because I had some friends who were EMTs. So I went to a summer EMT school, and
EMTs are
work
like,
on an ambulance.
Yeah. So they're like first responders and ambulances.
Yeah, and they're not paramedics, so they don't do as much stuff as paramedics. They're like a paramedic's assistant almost.
Okay.
But
like a squire.
Yeah, pretty much. So what I did is I took this class, and we ended up at the end of it going into emergency rooms and working for a day in the emergency rooms. And keep in mind, up until now for college, I've been planning on nutrition, and that's what I was going to do. But working in the emergency room, something I super wasn't thinking I was going to like, because I don't like hospitals in general. It clicked, like it felt like the right place for me, and I've never had that feeling before, that I was in the right place doing the right thing. These are the right people to be around. Like, this is what I need to be doing in my life.
Yeah.
And it really clicked, like, that hard. Like, the first day I was like, this seems really cool, I should get some more information about nursing from the nurses here. And then the second one I went to at UC Davis, their hospital was awesome. People there were awesome. And they were just...
What got you to go into these hospitals? Was it like part of
it was
school?
Kind of an assignment.
Okay.
For like time spent in a clinical setting.
Okay.
Kind of. But yeah, so like I didn't really want to do those, but those...
Did you just walk into the hospital and you're like, hey, I'm here for...
Oh, they were scheduled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But...
You were just like, hey...
What's up? Can I
I'm supposed to spend time here, I think.
Yeah, no. They were scheduled.
I'm taking a college class.
But... Yeah, and it was just so right. And now I'm completely switched to, like, I want to do emergency room nursing. And that's definitely what I want to do. And I know what I want to do. So, my point being, I was totally going in the wrong direction. Luckily, the prereqs for nursing and nutrition are pretty much the same.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm glad I didn't go to a 4-year where I was kind of stuck, and or would have ended up being stuck if I decided I want to do something else. Because, I mean, if you know what you want to do, if you have that same feeling that I had about nursing recently, like a long time ago, and like you know what you want to do, go to a 4-year and get that done. But I didn't really know.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same. I never had that moment where this is my, like, calling.
Even then, it's way cheaper to get...
Yeah.
To go to Sierra College.
It's just smarter
to go to community college.
For sure.
Sorry, in my brain, Sierra College and community college is like the same word. Same word. And like community colleges in California are really awesome. My sister
Yeah.
works for the Foundation for Community Colleges, and she raises a bunch of money for community colleges all the time.
Yeah, our
So it's
college
like
just
they're
got
well
a whole
funded.
new. I don't know if you've been there recently. They got a whole new library set up. Awesome.
yeah.
Whole new
Yeah, I
coffee
heard about
shop
that.
too. It's awesome.
I want to go check it out.
Should.
I tried to check out a book from Sierra College's library. I haven't been a student at Sierra for a few years, and like in my student ID, I was not enriched for any classes, and they were like, you can't check this out."
That's funny.
I was like, maybe it's lifetime pass. I don't know. How cool would that be if you had access?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I ended up buying it offline. That book.
like I
yeah.
was saying,
Yeah.
where was that? Yeah.
But-
If you're not sure, don't get stuck in something you don't know you want to do.
Yeah. Because the class environment and the work environment is going to be totally different.
Yeah.
And most likely what they're teaching you in school is going to... Because, like... And this is another great argument for community college, especially if you go into any kind of, like, trade job.
Yeah.
Or, like, any job that's been changed by technology, which would be very
Everything.
surprising if any job hasn't been changed by this technology.
Yeah.
The professors that work at colleges are normally, like... Or community colleges are normally, like, new hires. So, and sometimes you can substitute some requirements.
They're ready to teach too.
Yeah.
They want to do it really
Yeah.
bad. They're excited about teaching.
Yeah, but like you can substitute 2 years in the field in the industry with like a 4-year degree or something like that.
Yeah.
To teach at a community college. So they probably have way more hands-on experience than, let's say, a professor that's been a professor for 20 years and that knows more about being a professor than they do about the field that they're teaching in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so the hands-on experience and just like the down and dirty, this is what is going to be expected of you, and this is what a normal day looks like, is going to be way more real, and like it's going to flush out your model of the world way easier.
Yeah.
More accurately.
And no offense to any like university teachers, but
Take offense. We're trying to offend you.
to me too, I just feel like the community college teachers care so much more. Obviously, there are some like university teachers that care a lot and they care a ton, but at community college, every teacher I've had seemed to really care whether or not I do well, and whether or not we pass, and whether or not we'll be able to continue.
Yeah.
And that they're just super there for you in that regard, and I think that's really cool. Instantly, you don't get that personal like connection that you as much with a university or 4-year college than you would with a my brain's tired, community college. So that's what I think is really cool about it too.
So you're doing this nursing program.
Yeah.
And you're also taking this art class as like as just part of like the general ed doing
Yes and
this
no.
art class. Yes and no.
I couldn't get into chemistry, so I'm taking art instead.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the backstory of that.
Basically the same class.
Pretty
I
much.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you take some of those ceramics classes, it might as well be
learn
killing
some
it.
chemistry.
Yeah. Like I was in science is more of an art than a science, Morty. Not a lot of people get that. Yeah, like mixing your own glazes and stuff. Like that was a specialty of one of the ceramics teachers, like Casey O'Connor at Sierra College, and it was really cool to see him like mix like, because glazes are just like powdered glass.
Yeah.
So it's like mixing different glasses and like weird iron oxides together to get this result. And he's done it like 100 times, and he knows like exactly how much to add and what doesn't matter and what can you just like kind of throw in. It was neat. It was really cool. But yeah, so you couldn't get in chemistry because it was crazy impacted.
Yeah.
As things are. I guess that's a downside of community college. You definitely have to be on top of it to get the classes that you need, especially if they're big general ed classes. But at the same time, it's like specialty classes and stuff. There's like way smaller demand. But yeah, so you're taking art.
Yeah.
And you're drawing negative space and Iron Man.
Well, in my art class, I'm not drawing Iron Man.
Okay.
In my art class, I'm drawing, contour line drawings. So contour line. If you look in a kid's coloring book, and there's a picture.
That's a good example. Contour line. Yeah.
There's a picture of a skateboard. Like, imagine what that would look like in a kid's coloring book, and that's what it looks like. That's what a contour line drawing is. And so it's weird experience for me, because we're in like, what, 4 weeks in now?
Yeah.
And I guess we're just like about to start learning some shading. But I've been an artist for like my entire life. Well, I wouldn't call myself an artist when I was like younger. Probably since I was 12 or so. Like I started like getting into it more and getting better at it. I took like 4 years of art classes at my high school, and I've done some semi-professional work, sold paintings.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you could walk into an advanced art class and get thrown into the wolves and be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just weird being back at the beginning, and everything's so much slower, and that's understandably so. Obviously, people who don't have any experience with art need that pace, and they need the skills that are being taught. But for me, it's a weird experience. So right now on my art board for my class, because we have a board that we tape our papers to so that we can draw on them, I kind of replaced what I had on there for the class with a super cool Iron Man drawing I did. So my teacher's not going to be too happy about that next time I walk into class, because it's still taped on there. It probably will be.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
What a rebel.
Yeah.
And it was cool how you were describing how you swapped, because you wanted a certain pose from like one of the earlier movies from Iron Man, but there wasn't he didn't do that pose in like the Infinity Armor suit.
Yeah.
So you had to like
edge.
Yeah.
I know the terms.
Yeah. So it's like you had to like switch the armor onto the body that you wanted, and you had to put your hand, like the hand right.
So
and was that the first time you've done that?
This is the first time I've done that. So imagine this. You're looking at a really, sorry people who drive a Civic, but like a really old Honda Civic, and like you just love the position it's in, right? On like in the photo.
Yeah, the
and
perspectives,
you want to draw that perspective, that position the car is in. But you want to draw it as one of the brand new 2018, 2019 Honda Civics that look beautiful. You want to draw it as that. But you can't find any pictures of that car in the same pose as the other car is.
Yeah.
So what I did is I took basically the new Iron Man armor and I transposed it over to the pose of the old one. Same way you would like take the new body style of the very nice new Civic and just kind of throw that on to the really old Civic.
Yeah.
To make it into that pose.
It's a really good example. That's a really good way to explain that.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was hoping it would make sense. Yeah, and then a cool thing too, I didn't sign it. I don't think I'm gonna sign that piece because I don't feel the need to. Because for the Iron Man hand, in the older suits, it was really blocky and mechanical and big and bulky. In the bleeding edge armor, the newest armor, it looks just like a regular hand. I couldn't figure out how to draw that. So what I did is I went in, I took a picture of my own hand doing the pose he's doing.
Yeah.
And so
if
you see this, if this is in thumbnail or something like that, I don't know. That's my hand in the picture. Like actually my hand, which I think is a cool way of kind of signing the art piece. Yeah.
You know what blew me away the other day?
What?
Corey talking about hands and unique things about hands. That fingerprints are actually being thrown out of court because
they're not actually. I heard about that
because people have the same fingerprints. It's like 1 in 1,000 or something like that. Within the same community, there's someone that might have a very similar fingerprint as you.
Like 1 in 1,000?
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, like scary small. Like that is a crazy small number when you're talking about population.
If it's 1 in 1,000,000, I wouldn't be that worried. But 1 in 1,000.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, when I'm pretty sure. I don't know. This is when you can fact check on that. That just like wet your whistle on curiosity. Fingerprints aren't the same.
Yeah, I've heard that even like one person, like even 2 people out of all the people on Earth having the same fingerprint. Like, what if that person's your next door neighbor?
Yeah,
like, that's kind of scary. Yeah,
but like mathematically,
There's
Because
like so many ways.
like, does my pinky is that the same fingerprint as someone else's thumb?
I don't know.
Or like, because if you had a full palm, I remember watching some crazy crime investigation show. There was like a true crime thing, and they did this new forensic test on this like plastic bag because they couldn't do fingerprints off of plastic bags before because they had this trash bag, and it was kind of a haunting image of a hand because like it came out amazing, like because the bag was like crinkled when the guy grabbed it, and so it was like stretched out flat, and it was all these like crazy bright colors for this like palm print, but it was like a full palm, and it was all the fingerprint. And it had like the wrinkles of the bag in there. And I remember seeing that going like, man, that's like the whole palm. Like, and I looked at my hand and I was like, oh yeah, I guess fingerprints do go down your whole hand.
Yeah.
So it's like, would someone else's, so if you had a full palm print, would that be more reliable than just a partial fingerprint?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. Okay, on this same note, because we were talking about abstract art the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a really fun documentary called Who the F is Jackson Pollock? And it's about this like this lady truck driver that was at a flea market and bought this splatter painting, and someone told her, I think that's a Jackson Pollock. And so she does some research and finds out that it might be a Jackson Pollock. And she gets an art appraiser in there, and he gets really excited because he's like, this looks a lot like Jackson Pollock.
Yeah.
And Jackson Pollock, it's just a splatter paint art. He was notorious for drinking coffee and beer together, or like coffee and alcohol. So he'd get in this kind of like frenzy.
A fun time.
Yeah, so he had this like weird upper downer frenzied state, and he'd just like splatter paint on a canvas, and he would try not to control it at all, and just be in this like this crazy state, and just like splatter paint. And when it was done, it was done. He just like walked out of his studio and you didn't even look at it. So if you were going to forge a Jackson Pollock, it'd be really, really hard, because in that documentary they talked to an art forger, and he's like, I've never tried to do a Jackson Pollock for that reason, because I mean, how can you forge the speed at which he whipped his arm and the paint splattered? So it's like, considering it's such a mess, and you look at that's one of those like, oh, a 2-year-old could have painted that, like moments in museums when it's like, well, go try to paint that, see what happens. Not being a crazy fan, I'm not a crazy fan of Jackson Pollock, but the documentary is interesting, and the thing about the painting was they matched a fingerprint on the back of the painting to one of the fingerprints in his studio, and they matched like some of the paint too. So it's like, it's really likely that this is a Jackson Pollock. But since that, I thought about that the other day, because I was connecting some dots in my brain of like, oh, but if fingerprints aren't as reliable, maybe that is a forgery. But the art community isn't really accepting it anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it shows how stuffy the freaking art community is.
Yeah,
like the fine art community. Ugh, let's Snoreville.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Yeah, I'm gonna stay being an outside artist, screen printer, skateboarding, and doing parkour.
I don't want to be in that community.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in the fine art community. No.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like you're doing yourself any favors. Like, illustrators are fine. I love illustrators. Illustrators are awesome. Like any applied art and design. Yeah. Not biased at all, because that's what I do. No bias. No bias here. Little lull. That was a nice rant about Jackson Pollock and fingerprints. Yeah.
Anyways, back to the art class.
Yeah. Let's get back to it.
So, yeah, this art class. It's a fun class. It's nice to just sit there and have some time to draw, but like I said, I'm an advanced student.
Yeah.
I'm not a beginner. Like, I'm not. Yeah. Not to make it sound too cocky, but
it's rough, in those classes, because.
And it's, I don't know. One interesting thing though is just seeing how much other people are improving. You're just seeing, like, glancing over at this stuff on the first day, and it's just like, no offense to them, It's bad. It's like a 5-year-old drew it, right? Yeah. Like no idea of proportion, no idea of depth, nothing like that going on in their drawings.
There's no confidence in the line. They're very scared. They're very timid.
Yeah, wavy lines. And whereas for me, first day, right, I'm just sitting over there just kind of doing my thing because that's doing what I know how to do. But just seeing them struggling is kind of weird. Yeah, it's something so simple. But then after they were taught, like this goes for like anyone can learn art. It's all about practice and being taught the techniques. Like after we had lessons on it, just seeing them, their lines improve, their depth improve, everything just like worlds away from what it was.
Yeah.
And it's still beginner art, and it's like it's only our 3rd, 4th week, so it's like after 16 weeks, it'd be cool to see what other people can produce.
Yeah.
See how much they improve from like such a low like starting level, like starting at not having any knowledge of art. Like I'm interested in seeing where people can go in 16 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember having a figure drawing class, and this guy was like struggling all semester, and he was kind of a big guy, and he had like lip piercings, and he was like really shy, didn't really talk to anybody. And for like a final project, we had really cool finals in figure drawing. Our teacher was cool. He like really challenged us, and this guy did like these crazy colored abstract things. They were really cool because like all those other drawings were like so like that, like half a circle for a head and then like a line down from the body, like no joke. Like we've been drawn for like like an hour, like, and that's what he had. Like it was rough. It was like really rough. A lot of his drawings were like, man, dude, like why are you here? You know, it was like oh, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end, you know, it's like he's like something came through at that final project, and I was like, dude, you should have been doing
things just gotta click.
Yeah, it's like you should have been doing this whole time. Where was this?
Yeah, maybe he just he found his style.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find if I try and do art like the same way as someone else is doing it, it's not going to come out the same as theirs. It's not going to come out as good as theirs. If I do it my way, if we're drawing the same thing, and I try to draw it exactly like they're drawing it, it's going to look bad. But if I draw it as I see it, it's way better. So maybe it's like that whole time he could have been trying to draw what the teacher was trying to tell him to draw, what he saw other people drawing. Maybe he just clicked and like, I'm just going to draw what, like, from my style.
Here's a question. This is a question I ponder a lot.
Yeah.
Would you rather be more capable and be really diverse in your skill sets and could have multiple paths to do what you want, or have like one skill set that isn't that great but you have to do it? Like,
what do you mean? Like, you have to do it.
So like you know, for like you see like these like success stories sometimes of people who are not in the industry, and they just like drop in this industry and they somehow have this like crazy success, and in the interview they're like, yeah, I didn't know anything about, you know, this company or this thing, and you know, I had to learn as I went, and but like I had this idea, like so like the lady that made Spanx, I researched lots of weird.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
She had a good how it's or how I built that podcast, and she was like selling like fax machines or something, and apparently it was a really common thing at that time to take a pair of like tights and cut them up for like just like a simple like no show like underwear.
Yeah.
And she's like, man, someone should really make these, because like I know other women do it, I do it, so and so that was like the first path down to making Spanx, which is like this whole brand now. But like she wasn't a fashion designer, and she just had this idea. So it was like maybe to have an idea that you don't know how to execute,
but it could be awesome.
Yeah. Would you rather be that person or someone who knows how to execute many ideas but doesn't have the fire? He doesn't like that person doesn't know, like, because sometimes I find myself in that camp a lot where it's like I have many skills, but like it doesn't seem like because I've got many options, like I don't go very far down many paths because, like my center, my like comfort zone is in this like place of multiplicity, and just by that very definition, I'll never have the success that someone will have if they hone in on this one thing.
Yeah. So one thing I've been told, and I would agree. So recently, I was thinking about basically two different choices with like what I'm going to do for a living, right? Because like I want to have a path and a job, right? That I can get from that. That'll bring me money, basically.
Yeah.
It'll support me. It'll give me a purpose. And I had two ideas. One of them being working in ministry in a church, in like full-time ministry. And I knew that that was one of my options. Was full-time ministry, which is kind of crazy. And it's like it's not a glamorous life, and I know that. And it's so that was one of my options. The other option is, like I said, like the nursing, because that really clicked for me. And because I was starting to shy away from the nutrition thing, feeling like that didn't give me enough purpose. So I was talking to my pastor about it, and he said, and this applies to anyone, if you have two doors, if you stand there looking at the doors, or if you like peek your head through both of them, like start on something but don't really finish it, you start walking down the hallway, you're like, I wonder what's behind that other door, let me go check real quick, and you keep doing that, you're not going to go anywhere. But if you pick one door, one path, and you go down that, no matter how much you suck at that, you're going to get good at it. If you go at it with everything you got, you're going to do well, because you're giving it everything you've got. So for me, at that crossroads, like, I'm not super experienced in ministry. I have some experience in like not nursing, but like EMT and stuff like that in the medical field. But so I've decided, and it's just a decision I made, I'm going to go down this door. Like, I'm going to have the drive, I'm going to go full on towards this.
Yeah. Like
full commitment. And so that's kind of how I stand on that. Like, you just got to decide. Like, pick one and go for it.
But you had this crazy experience in the hospital, though. Like, did you decide to do this before that experience, though?
So I was standing on the edge of going back to Bible college, thinking about it, and I wasn't sure, but I was thinking about it, and I was just kind of still, I don't know what I'm doing. I could do nutrition. I'm also a certified personal trainer, so like, I could be a personal trainer. I do art. I could do art, something. I don't really know. And so I had multiple options. And then for some reason the nursing clicked, and also the ministry clicked. So I was getting back into going to church and everything more than just once a week. Like, I was getting back into like the church community. And so both of those were just like, those are both great options, and I've narrowed it down to those two. And so that's kind of how that happened. So I had other things I was thinking about, but those were the two I felt most strongly about. And so from those, I just decided.
Okay.
And I plan on sticking with that decision. Like, I'm not going to go back. Like, in the future, I might do like ministry, like youth ministry as like a hobby, but what I'm sticking with for my decision as my career is going to be nursing.
Yeah.
And that's a solid. There's no going back, no changing that. That's what I'm doing.
So like because to have an experience that you described at, was it UC Davis or was it the other hospital?
It is the other hospital, but like UC Davis confirmed it more so.
So you're in this emergency room.
Yeah.
And you're having this experience of like, wow, I can see myself here. I like the people here. I like the vibe.
Yeah.
Which is a funny thing to say at that,
Sounds
crossroads.
Terrible. Yeah, so I was like, how'd that go? Like, oh, it was fun. I mean, like, I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, everything sucked because the injuries and the sadness.
Yeah, like people are having.
But it was fun.
So it's like to have that experience You know,
Yeah.
that can solidify a decision and make you feel really confident in it.
Yeah.
So had that happened yet? When you made this decision, or were you still kind of going on maybe like more of like a gut or like an intuition of like, oh, maybe.
So
maybe
before
this is
that
bad.
happened,
maybe I'll fit.
This is when I was finishing up my EMT training, and my EMT school is, I went to talk to my pastor, and I was asking him, like, I'm at this crossroads, I don't know really what I'm going to do. And that's when he told me, you pick one and you go down that road. And I was kind of like leaning towards one, and I was leaning towards the other, leaning towards one. So I was thinking that, like, it was medical. It wasn't necessarily nursing, but I was like, that's my, but like medical field and not nutrition. Like, I don't know what yet, but I'm going to find something in the medical field, because that's what for some reason, that was something that I wanted to do, something I'd seen and I liked, as being in the medical field. So I didn't really know nursing at that point.
Okay.
I was thinking paramedics, maybe fire department even.
Okay.
Something along those lines. But I decided, like, I'm already going to school. I've got these prerequisites. I could switch to Bible school easily. I already got into the school, so I could go back there. But I've already got these prerequisites at Sierra for nutrition that I could put towards nursing, or I could put towards other medical like paths. So it was probably around then that I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going medical, and I'm going this direction.
Going medical, man.
Yeah. And like, I'm going this direction. Like, that's
Okay.
where I'm going. That's where I'm headed.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm gonna like put all my efforts towards being able to work in the medical field. And what exactly that meant, I wasn't really sure. But then with ER nursing, the first hospital, I loved it, and I loved what I was doing and working with the nurses and everything there. And then the second hospital, it's like, okay, this is 2 hospitals in a row. This is awesome. It's not just, I don't know, it's not just like I had fun there and I didn't have fun at this one. It confirmed that was the right place for me to be in, like in the emergency room. So I had already made the decision to go towards medical at that point, but that's what pushed me. I guess if I hadn't made the decision that I was going into the medical field, I wouldn't have felt so strongly about nursing. Yeah.
And that wouldn't have led you to being in the hospital in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I would have still had to go, but I wouldn't.
So you committed.
I committed to medical, and then I didn't really know where I was going then. But had I not committed to that, I don't think that I would have felt so strongly about nursing and like emergency room nursing.
Yeah.
Because I would have still been on the edge, and I wouldn't have been paying attention to, oh, this is a specific profession I want to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have had that moment had I not chosen, like, I want to go to the medical route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm spending so much time on this because I feel like it's a question. That's like the biggest question you can be asking yourself as like a young person.
Yeah.
Of like getting into college and going like, what am I going to pursue, and taking that seriously and getting like real experience, like, and seeing what that job's really like, and and fathoming like doing it for a long, like even if you just did it for 5 years, it's still a ton of time.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy.
And the school commitment too for different things. Like for doctors are insane. It's like some places like 8 years, like for different things. Not all of them are that long, but like it's a lot of years. 5-6 years normally for doctors, I think. Nurses are 4 years at least, and it's a lot, and that's a big commitment to make. And it's like coming out of high school and like being asked to make that commitment is insane, but you kind of have to.
Yeah.
That's why, like I said before, community college is cool, because you can play around, figure out what you really want to do. My voice cracked. Yeah. Figure out what you really want to do from that. But I don't know. You're not gonna know exactly what it is, I feel like, till it hits you in the face. Like, you're not gonna know where you're gonna land.
Do you have to be open to that though?
Yeah.
Like if it's, because sometimes it can hit you in the face, but like if you're not ready to Like, could you have that experience but not realize that you're having it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because like I was going to say, you have to choose a direction you're going in first.
Okay.
And if you don't have a direction you're going in, and then like an opportunity comes up or something cool happens, then you're still going to sit on the edge of it. You're still going to be like, I wasn't really thinking I would go in that direction necessarily. I thought about it, but I also like this. Whereas if you have, it just happened to be like in the same month that I had, like I chose my direction, my path, and then I got hit in the face with like exactly what I wanted to do on that path. But it's like you're not gonna know. Basically, you have to start moving in a direction.
Okay.
You can't just like keep looking around and like walking around in a circle.
Yeah. You're on the trail. Like just keep hiking on it.
Yeah, and
like,
eventually
you might have some bad days, but it's, you know.
Yeah, it's like that analogy is probably better. Like if you're hiking on a trail, you choose which trail to go down. You choose which path to go down, and like you don't know what's coming up on that.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna like really hit you. It's like, oh, that's what I want to do on this path. Or like maybe, I got my voice again.
Yeah. I think everyone should go hike a mountain. Like it doesn't have to be a crazy high mountain, but just like go hiking, because like that experience is such a great metaphor for so much in life.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to accomplish something, and you're like, you know, there's like, I got 20% of the way there, I got 30% of the way there, I'm 90% of the way there, and now I'm on the top. But like, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel that incremental, because like
it's not.
Sometimes it'll be super hot and you're doing crazy switchbacks, and you know you ran out of water, you know, something, or you're hungry, or your feet hurt, you get a blister, and you just gotta like, you know, you're gonna hit these different like trials going up this mountain.
I was gonna say, it's not. Oh, I'm 20% there. 30% there now. I'm halfway there. It's not like that with anything.
And like you need to stop looking at your feet and like enjoy where you are.
Yeah.
Because I do that a lot when I'm hiking. I just like end up staring at my feet, making sure I'm not tripping on rocks and stuff.
Yeah. And like you do trip on rocks.
Yeah.
Like it gets really hot, you run out of water, and like those things like slow you down, or you pay attention to those. But one thing to pay attention to is like the victories. So like getting that awesome view. Like don't just keep like the little victories along the way, the little awesome views along the way on the trail. Don't just keep going like nose to the grindstone, like, or like staring at your feet, just marching on through.
The most important thing is, you know, getting there, you know. It's not.
It's like I said, you gotta choose direction, but be open and like be looking for stuff.
Yeah.
While you're walking, because if you're just walking and like, I don't know, you're walking and you're not really looking, you're not gonna see something cool. It's not just about getting through college. It's not just about getting to the end of the trail. It's about like the little victories along the way, and those help you keep going. Yeah. That's one big thing I've had to pay attention to more lately, is just have some fun along the way. And like that'll boost your spirits. Like if you see it, like something cool happens, like it'll help you keep going, basically.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be, and it makes it feel less like, oh, it's years away. This thing I want to get to is literally years away. Yeah. It's more like, in like a month or two, I'm done with my EMT program, and now I'm like, oh, I'm an EMT now. And then like, hopefully, if this art thing I've got going on goes well, I can be designing wakeboards. Yeah. And it's like those little things along the way. It's not all related to your ultimate goal, but helps you keep pushing forward to have those. Yeah, but like back to the hiking metaphor. You were talking about how like, you know, art is like kind of a stress reliever right now for you, because like just being a little stressed out with like classes and you know, tests and all that, where it's like these are like the little views you get to see along the way. Or like seeing a cool weird tree and just staring at it for a bit. Then like those are the breaths
you know, and like making some art, just like cranking something out in a day, feeling good, being like, yeah, I got that done.
Yeah. Making a goal and then getting it done feels good. It feels great. Yeah, so
yeah, no.
With my Iron Man thing, I wasn't necessarily planning on getting it done in a day. I was like, after my test, I'm just gonna go home and draw. And then my idea just developed, and I got it done, and I was done like before the night was over with this crazy drawing I did, and that just felt so good. And like, this is a whole different thing I'm getting into, but so basically I was in a coffee shop working on it, and the guy came up to me, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
A guy came up to me, said, "That's awesome, can I see some more of your artwork?" And I showed him some more of my artwork, and he really liked it. He said, "I want you to send me a portfolio, and I'm thinking maybe I could bring you on to be an artist for our wakeboard company. We make wakeboards." And it's like, that's really cool. And like that, I'm not really good at accepting compliments usually, and I don't know, something about that just like hit me like, wow, people like really appreciate what I'm doing. Just a little acknowledgement felt really good.
Yeah.
Even if the whole like working for them doesn't pan out or whatever, that acknowledgement, like, it felt good. And like getting that Iron Man thing, something that was just fun for me, like also just like, I don't know, getting acknowledgement and acknowledging like myself, like, oh, that is like, I am good at what I do, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
It was helpful. And it's
Is there a reoccurring like daydream you have when you're drawing, or when you're creating something like that, and you're kind of like in a flow state and you're working away and you're like, oh, I'll do this value and stuff, and you get these like little breaks as you're doing that? I daydream a lot when I'm doing, and I find that I have like reoccurring like daydreams.
Yeah.
Do you have any reoccurring like kind of like mental kind of fantasies
Not that I've ever
about
noticed.
your life, or
I haven't necessarily paid super attention to it, but I don't know. A lot of times when I'm drawing, it's because most of my projects I want to get done in one day. Like I've said before.
Yeah.
I can't do it unless I can do it in one day, just because I don't have a lot of time on my hands. And I don't know, it's like someone else going to a yoga class, or just meditating, or putting on music and just laying down. Like for me, that's drawing kind of just is nothing but me and the drawing, and me working on the drawing and just putting my idea like into reality.
Yeah.
And for this one, the Iron Man, it was cool because I had an idea and I had to pull from different sources and change things up and work through some problems on it. And yeah, just the entire time it was kind of like laser focus on it. Yeah, I don't notice any, like, I don't really think when I'm drawing.
Yeah. I just asked that question because, you know, talking about like recognition and being noticed for what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of what my daydreams are like about. Like I imagine a lot of like, it's probably because I listened to a lot of artist interviews while I was drawing, and it just kind of became like a habit. Like, and I just like, I imagine like if I was being asked questions about what I was doing, or if I had to explain to a student, because I had an art class at the time, you know, so it's like it was like a one part like this like weird like ego fantasy of like, you know, this is, you know, if someone found what I was doing interesting, what would I say, you know? And
maybe I should have been thinking about that, because when the guy asked to see some of my other artwork, he was like, so what is this style? Like, what do you call this style? And like asked me where my ideas came from and stuff like that. I was kind of just didn't know what to say.
Little.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I'm talking?
Oh,
first?
I guess.
Yeah.
The mic, or the program dropped us real fast, and so now we're back. I can fix that in editing. I can trim that. This can disappear.
This is an interesting re-intro. I'm cool with it.
Re-intro.
If you want to keep it, but
so a guy just came up to you at a coffee shop, asking you about where your ideas come from,
and I said, well, I didn't say, but I was just thinking, I don't know. I was
totally baffled.
Because I was not expecting I wasn't expecting anyone to come up to me, like, seriously asking about my work.
Yeah.
And for me, it's more of a hobby.
Yeah, no one was going to be like, so tell me, what's your process?
Yeah.
What do you go through?
I was just chilling, drinking the London fog, basically in my pajamas, and just drawing, watching a magic show while I was drawing. Because they had a magic show going on at the Fig Tree.
Yeah.
Fig Tree's awesome.
Yeah,
Here in
great spot.
Roseville.
Joe, do you know Joe has a band?
No.
Yeah, he played at the Fig Tree on Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah, he plays harmonica and he sings.
Sorry, that's funny. That is funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Like, his brother plays the accordion and
Yeah.
his friend's on guitar, and they've got like a bass, like just the
That's
bass
cool.
sub of like a
Yeah.
drum set, so they can get the da da da, and they're like this like kind of folky, raw, like Trampled by Turtles or like the Last Bison kind of sounding. They play a lot of songs from the Last Bison. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, wasn't expecting someone to come up
Yeah.
to me, and because I had just gone there because my girlfriend was tired. It's the only reason we went to a coffee shop. So I was like, well, we'll grab some coffee, go hang out there for a bit, but I want to draw still. So that's why I brought my drawing. I don't normally bring my drawings anywhere with me.
Yeah.
I usually just work on them at home. This is like the one time that like I've ever brought my drawings to a coffee shop, like ever, really, I think, to work on them. Because it's a little awkward for me. Like, 'cause a lot of people will come up and like say, "Oh, that's cool," or like try to talk to me a little bit about it.
Yeah.
This guy was like, so tell me about your process. Like, where do you get your ideas from? Can I see more of your artwork? What is the style you're doing? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't know the style.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is a style.
Just be like alchemy. I get it from alchemy.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I didn't know what to say. So it's like, I've used a bunch of different styles in the past. I've worked with tons of mediums, so it's just kind of accumulation. If I said it more awkwardly than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of stumbling through it.
Yeah, because I was not expecting it, and it was at least. Why were we talking about? Because you said you would like imagine like if you had to talk about it.
Yeah, I
what would
daydream
you
about
say?
that a lot.
Yeah, I've never like had thought about like if someone came up to me asking me what is your process. I've never thought about this is this and I do this because of this and I do like how to explain it. I never thought about that, so it really caught me off guard. Luckily, the guy, I think he realized that it would catch me off guard because it's not like I was asking him to come up to talk to me. So I think he realized it would catch me off guard, and he was like, "Do you have your portfolio with you?" No, I just brought this because, yeah, and he understood that I didn't because it's not like I was walking into a job interview. He was coming up to me in a really kind of random situation. He was super nice, super cool guy, but yeah, so I think he realized that I would be really like not knowing what to say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it goes to show like it's worth going, or like the value of a place like the Fig Tree where it's like it's not a mainstream coffee shop. It's more about art.
Yeah.
And they've got live music every night, and
it's
like I've met a lot of people that draw. Like I met this lady in there once or she was like this lady. Gosh, makes her sound like she's 40. She was like 20.
Yeah.
And she had this journal. It was like beautifully illustrated and had like her bucket list in it, and she had all these like paintings inside it of like places she'd gone, and it's just cool. I was like, gosh, like when do you bump into this? And I had my sketchbook, and we were like talking, and
yeah,
I was kind of like wandering around, and it was great. And to have those like community spaces.
It's cool because there's other ones out there, like there's Shady's and there's Origin Coffee, which I used to volunteer at, and yeah, there's other places that like this. There's not that many.
Yeah.
As opposed to all the Starbucks or Pete's Coffees. And I also work in a Starbucks, so I can't say too much about that.
And like,
But
there's nothing wrong with Starbucks.
There's just
like,
not so much community to it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not. It's like you don't like. It just doesn't
It's
have
like you
that
kind of
same.
walk in, get your coffee, and walk out.
Yeah.
It's not
like,
the same vibe, and it's not there for the same reasons.
Yes, totally.
But yeah,
And in the same way that like free flow isn't
it's
a
not
24-hour fitness.
It's not a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You know, it's like there's definitely.
it's a community center. If
Yeah.
anything, it's one of the best ways I think to describe it.
Yeah, it's like a refuge for
Yeah.
volleyball athletes. And that's the same thing with the coffee shop. You
Yeah.
know? The coffee shop's like the refuge for all the, outside creatives that are looking for a place to like connect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's interesting because with this wakeboarding thing, is with this whole thing with the guy who walked with me turned out to kind of pan out to, is he's considering like maybe bringing me on for like doing art for the wakeboards, and I don't know if it'll pan out. I don't know, but like assuming it does, like at all, that'd be super awesome. It's
Yeah.
like we even because like the randomness of it, like how we just bump into each other. Because like I said, Roma, my girlfriend, was tired. She was feeling kind of sick, so she wanted some coffee to perk her up. So we're like, okay, we'll go out and get some coffee. We're like, I get a discount at Starbucks. I work at Starbucks, but they're like, nah, we probably want to sit for a while.
So, as someone who studied nutrition and is going to be a nurse, would you recommend if you just need a perk up, just grab a cup of coffee, just
tea.
Oh, tea.
Tea.
Grab a cup of
Yeah.
tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better.
The slow burn.
Yeah.
All about that high octane, the slow burn caffeine.
Yeah, it's more refreshing too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Anyways, yeah. So the whole thing is like, we went to Shady's Coffee, but they looked really busy. So it's like we went to a different place, and then we ended up at Fig Tree, and we sat down at a table. And I was like, I don't want to be in too many people's way. Let's go over to the couches. There's no one over in that area. And then a show starts, and there's people walking in, and like I was telling them, like, hey, I know you're not feeling too great. If you want to leave, we can. Like, so thinking about leaving. And then, like, no, we'll stay. This seems like it'd be interesting. And then, yeah, and then that's when the guy comes in. So it's like all these, like, random events that led up to this. And if this pans out, that's really cool. Because, like, or even if it doesn't, it's still really cool. Because, I don't know, it's so, what's the word? Well, not natural, but, like,
Yeah, just the state of events that had to fall into play.
yeah.
That happened.
So
Yeah.
random and like, yeah, I guess natural. Like, it's like I didn't try.
Yeah.
I didn't try to go there to get like
Organic
noticed.
might be a nice
Organic.
word.
That's what I was
Yeah.
looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Organic. So organic.
Just like this Nature Valley peanut butter granola. It
Yeah.
just grows off trees. Peanut butter granola. It's so
Mhm.
so natural.
Yeah.
Organic.
Yeah. It's just. That's what those places really are. It's like a place where you can just meet people in an organic kind of way.
Yeah.
And like even Shady's too, but it's just they're like, oh, they're too busy, let's go over here instead. It'd be like a Fig Tree a lot. So it's super
Do you
natural.
think it's worth at all trying to combine these two worlds that you find at a coffee shop, like how it's like the refuge for these like creatives and like musicians and artists and like like the parkour and the aerial arts and the stuff we do here, because like I find there's a lot of crossover already, but it doesn't feel like it's supposed to cross over.
I feel like
Do you think that'd be worth trying to do?
individually, like in a person, it can cross over. Like in me, like I like aerial arts too, and yoga and parkour. And yeah. So and I also like art, and like I'm a barista. I make latte art, and I can sit for hours making lattes, and it's just they can be crossed over the person. But I feel like I don't know. Each outlet needs its own place, kind of, in my opinion. I feel like it's not a natural for them to be together.
Yeah.
The same, like, vibe of, like, dancers and, like, practicing and, like, parkour and and the same vibe of coffee and like winding down and doing art and music, stuff like that. I feel like they don't complement each other well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it's curious, because it might be worth trying.
If
like
you found a way to merge them,
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah. Because
But
no, because I see a lot of crossover. You know, like the guy who got me into skateboarding is like a graffiti artist, and like the
Paige got me into parkour. Paige is an artist too.
yeah. So and like to be attracted to, you know, it's like a creative physical discipline, and to do difficult things.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a hallmark. This is like it's like a similar temperament kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it might, I don't know.
I feel like
that could be cool. Those could align.
yeah. I don't know how that would work, but one thing definitely is I feel like I have the same mindset as you or as Paige in some ways, and not in other ways. I don't know. Art's a part of my life. Parkour is a part of my life. For me, those aren't the main things necessarily. But a lot of people who do parkour have the same mindset of like art and parkour, or music and parkour. I don't know why, but maybe it's just what you need for one thing, you also need for the other, so they just kind of naturally develop at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is something like being like in your body. Because like doing art, that can be a very abstract activity. You know, it's like you can be lost in your own mind and thinking about ideas in very grand or small ways, and especially if you're working on like concept work or like, you know, like designing layouts and things. But like when you go and do something super physical, you're in your body, you've got these limitations, and you're pushing them and you're growing them, and like everything's super tangible, and everything's extra real. Like after like stretching, I always feel like I know. It's a weird feeling. It's like I know where the ground is. It's like know exactly like where my feet are and how big they are, and like everything feels like I'm very like in my body when I'm doing that. And you know, you can like get pulled out of your body, and it's like so much about our culture is designed to pull you out of your body. It's like with like social media and with, you know, video games and entertainment, and it's all these like fantasies where you can like enter and disappear, and you don't have to be like conscious of like how you're sitting and your posture and like how like feelings like feeling like the soreness and the strength and things like that. But and having that and like I just think that's a blend that goes really well together. Like having that like super deep creative side connected to the really physical, tangible, like
the way
that back and forth. I would
put it.
Yeah, because that was a mess.
Yeah, you don't have to be an athlete to be an artist. You don't have to be an artist to be an athlete. But whereas like if you look at video games, right, or social media, or something, there's no effort. Like video games, you can get really good at video games, whatever. Most people, it's just like an outlet where they like occupy themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And you play the game and that was a hard level, but it's not, you don't feel the pain that you do when you're working on an art piece for hours and you accidentally do a line outside, like somewhere it's not supposed to be. Like I do my artwork in pen a lot, and on this drawing, it's hard to see, there's a pen mark just in like the middle of the white area, absolutely out of place, and like for a moment that like killed me. That I was working on that for so many hours, not so, like 2 hours, just put the straight solid work the entire time, and I marked a line in the wrong place because I wasn't paying attention when I lifted my pen up and I hit it and I hit the paper. And there's something about the work that goes into that and the effort that takes that you don't get that same feeling of pain from like losing a level in a video game.
Yeah.
And also in the end, you don't get the same reward because it's not both of them. Like doing an art piece, playing a video game in the long run can totally be meaningless.
Sure.
Like financially or like socially or whatever.
Yeah.
It can be just for yourself.
Like those big sand mandalas that Buddhist monks do. I think it's Buddhist monks. They have different colored sand, and they make these huge like mandalas.
Yeah.
And then they just like blow it all away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like it's this beauty, but it's temporary. It's meaningless.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like whoa.
And that's what I
gnarly.
feel like. The same way video games, like it's a temporary thing. You're occupying yourself, but when it comes to art, you get the emotions from it. You feel the frustration. You really feel it. It's different than in a video game. Like unless you've tried doing art and you've tried and you failed, like you wouldn't feel. That's very different than trying to get through a level in a video game and failing, or just watching a TV and seeing a character you like dying on the show.
Yeah.
Or like seeing a couple you liked on the show break up. You're like, oh no, that's terrible. I was rooting for them. And like that's totally different than what you get out of doing an art piece. And the same thing with like athletics. I worked really hard to be strong, to get more muscly, better looking. Like it sounds, but everyone thinks it. Everyone thinks they want to have a better body. We don't talk about it much, but like I did, and so I worked really hard for it. And then I got into a car accident, and I hurt my back, and I didn't work out for a couple of months. And like when I came back, there were a lot of things I couldn't do, and like after all that hard work, like you don't get that same anger and frustration and like realness and meaningfulness that you can get from a video game or from social media or from anything.
Yeah.
Really. And like now that I've been getting back into it and getting better, and I can do my one-arm handstands a little bit better, I can do my muscle-ups better, it's so much more satisfaction that you can get from that than from something like a video game or just watching a TV show or social media, which is how a lot of people occupy their time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's what I think on that.
So, I know the big air conditioner turned on. So we're recording this next to my screen printing stuff up in the mezzanine on top of Free Flow, and it's like,
The artist left.
Yeah. And if there's like weird background noise, that is the big air conditioner.
Yeah.
Because it's literally right above us, and all the ducting is around us, which is cool, but at the same time, it's a little noisy. So to end, just lean a little closer to the microphone here.
Yeah.
And so there's a Thoreau quote that's surfaced on the internet recently that I've been pondering, which is comparison is the thief of joy, and it's really good. It's a really good quote, but at the same time, it's like I'm a little frustrated when I hear that.
What do you mean? What does that mean to you?
I think it means if you are like if you get a lot of joy out of making art, but then the second you go like, oh, I'm not as successful as Jim Lee, or I'm not as successful as this, and like you compare what you're doing to somebody else, or like, oh, I'm making YouTube videos, but I'm not as successful as, Casey Neistat, which is like the best out there, or even like a level down, where it's like it's still like a successful vlogger, but it's like, oh, I'm not as good as John Hill, like, and you're looking at like, this like skateboard vlogger, and you're like comparing yourself, and you're going like, oh man,
yeah.
and like once you start like comparing what you did that made you happy to somebody else's work, and that like takes the joy from you.
I disagree.
Hey, I hoped you were gonna say that, because I think this is a great quote, but it's still like,
yeah, if all that matters to you is being better than someone else, it's gonna take out the joy of it.
if you're competitive,
sure.
That's
like if you want to be if you want to be like a great actor like Tom Holland, or and you want to be able to do that, and that's what you try to strive for. You strive to be better than them, and you compare yourself to them, and there's a fine line. If you strive to be better than them, and that's your goal, then that's going to take the joy out of it, out of acting, out of all that. But if you have those little, like I said before, like milestones, your own goals, and like for me with, I'm not trying to do something super abstract like YouTube or like acting or singing or something like that, but I don't know, I guess with art, like I said, I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit, but yeah, if you're comparing yourself to someone and that's all you're doing, that's when it's going to take out the joy. But yeah, that's where I was. Someone in my life recently told me that life's all about being happy. If it doesn't make you happy, you shouldn't do it. And I disagree with that statement.
No.
Because if you, like, it's okay to be unhappy. Being unhappy is what
happy doesn't get things done.
Yeah.
Like anger gets things done.
Yeah.
If you're mad about something, you're gonna like that. If you can turn that energy into like, I'm gonna make things better because I'm annoyed at this.
Yeah.
Like that's way more than like, oh, I'm gonna feel so good at the end of this.
Yeah. If you're happy and you're content, like that's great for you, but that's not doing anything. And I think you should try to be happy, but you should never settle, and also never, you shouldn't just, I think you should never be happy where you're at in life. You should always want more in one way or another. It doesn't have to be money or status. It could be different things. Like, but same way with this. If you compare yourself to someone else and you see something in them, you're like, I see in them something that I don't see in myself, then that can give you a goal, or that can give you that unhappiness and that anger almost to meet that goal and to be more like them. Yeah,
that's the positive side of like envy.
Yeah.
It's like if you're envious, it's like, why am I so envious of this person? You know, it's like, oh, because this person's me.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's a possible version of me.
Yeah. And if you're, every once in a while comparing yourself to someone else, I think it's healthy. Like, you gotta see where other people are at. You gotta see what they did. You gotta see how they succeeded. You gotta see even just how they got lucky. Like, it doesn't have to be like they worked really hard, but like, this person got lucky. Like, that's not gonna happen to me, but what can I make happen to me?
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons why people really like this quote is because, like, the things that we're comparing is bad. You know, it's like we have like bad, we have like a bad measuring system that we're using. You know, it's like we're using some, it's like we're using inches instead of centimeters. You know, or even inches get the job done. You know, it's like we're using like Waggles. I don't know. I just made that up. Like Waggle measurements. Because like with like social media and likes and things like that, and you have all these like weird numbers, and you've got these like weird like fantasies that people are like portraying of their lives. And if you're comparing like your life to somebody else's life, I mean, that's a lot to try to compare to someone's life. Yeah. You know, like comparing lives. Are you kidding me? Like, there's so much in someone's life. You don't know their thoughts at 2 a.m. when they can't sleep. Yeah. You know, or like when they hate themselves the most. So I mean, it's like there's so much to people.
Yeah.
But
I think the key is with that quote. Comparison like kills the joy, or whatever it was.
The thief of joy.
Thief of joy. Yeah. If you're looking, like, there are some YouTubers that I really admire. For me, like, 2 of my kind of idols are, my brain's tired. Justin Gabe Conti. Sorry, I tried to think of their last name, but I couldn't think of it for a second. Justin Gabriel Conti, and where their lives are at. And a while back, I fell into, like, not realizing that they go through struggles too, and like kind of thinking them as perfect. And if you compare to life to someone you think is perfect, you're always going to fall really, really short.
Yeah.
But when you start thinking of like, okay, they have issues too. They're people. If you compare where you're at to a real person and someone you can see on like a real level, then it's healthy. If you're comparing yourself to someone who you only see through social media and you only see the good times and you only see the edited photos,
Yeah.
you're basically comparing yourself to being perfect, and that's never going to work out. That's what I think.
So what you should do is make a perfect version of your life and then compare it to their perfect version of their life.
It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
It'd be the same.
Yeah. So,
But
or you gotta make up a bad version of their life
Yeah.
that isn't perfect to compare yourself to.
That's
Yeah, maybe.
yeah. That's
You
a
gotta
better way
have.
of putting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's because I mean I could take photos from my Instagram. I could go out with my nicer clothes on, have a nicer car, so I can go to a nice place in the city, take some cool Instagram photos. I can showcase my best artwork. I can show all the like parkour workout stuff I can do on social media, and whatever.
And make kind of like a persona
Yeah.
for yourself.
And I can be
You know.
perfect, because on social you can be perfect, but then that's not really me. And that's the same way with people that are famous, people that you see have succeeded. You don't see every part of their lives. You don't see what they don't put on social media. You don't see what they don't say in an interview, because no one wants to be real in most interviews, because like that makes them vulnerable, and that kind of
Yeah.
drops the persona they created. So you don't see what happens behind closed doors, kind of. And if you're comparing yourself to someone where you can't see every part of what they're doing, and you only see the perfect parts, it's going to take the joy out of what you're doing. That's
Yeah. No. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
In summary,
comparison's the thief of joy.
in summary, if you compare yourself to perfection, you're going to fall short, and it's going to kill your joy. It's going to steal your joy. If you're comparing yourself to someone who you think is perfect, then it's going to take away your joy. But if you're comparing yourself on a real level to someone who you know in a real way, you know their struggles, you know their problems, you know their disbelief in themselves, then it'll be nothing but a motivator.
Yeah.
They'll say that they went through these struggles too. They had these problems, and look where they're at now.
Yeah. That like, that's another thing I contemplate sometimes. It's like, people only say like, oh, I'm only human.
Yeah.
You know, like you know exactly what happened before to make someone say that.
Yeah.
It's like they messed up, and they're like, well, I'm only human. But also it's like, only human is doing like these crazy feats of strength and endurance.
Joe can jump like 50 feet. He's only human.
Yeah. It's like there's a tons of like inspiration in that quote as well. It's like, oh, I'm only human, and check out all this crazy stuff I can do. It's like I'm this flawed individual, but also look at the heights I can climb to.
Yeah.
And the things I can transcend. I can transcend this like the negative side of that like only humanness and all my flaws, and I can get past that.
Yeah.
And like, but I feel like if you just stop at that Thoreau quote with like comparison's the thief of joy, you're not, I don't know, it's not like that quote isn't going to motivate you to go do something which is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, because you can be like, well, you know, I'm not going to compare myself to other people because
it's a feel good thing.
Yeah, because it's like, oh
and
man,
everyone wants to feel good.
No, and
like I said before.
Yeah, and I guess it's because like maybe I've got this built-in structure in my head already of like how to progress, like slowly, like from you know training parkour and learning how to do difficult things, and have gotten close to being like really really good at lots of stuff, and going like, okay, I know the path, I know how to get there, and it's all about these like incremental steps and working, you know, and like full immersion training and like working closer and closer. I don't know. I thought the quote was good, but at the same time I was like, There's so much that is like being glossed over.
Yeah, so
And
much more to that.
You can have a big nuanced discussion about that, but
Yeah. Ooh, I just had an analogy pop in my
oh
head.
yeah,
If you're looking at a famous painting or a famous piece of artwork and you think it's the most beautiful thing in the world, that's the end product of what the artist created.
yeah,
And if you compare that to the start of your journey and the start of your art project and the start of what you're doing, you're going to be so discouraged and you're going to think it's terrible. You're going to think what you're doing is terrible and it's going to take the joy out of it. But that's because you're looking at the finished product. You're comparing your barely started piece to a finished product, and that's not fair to yourself.
yeah,
That's what I think captures that quote and why that quote is wrong.
yeah,
If you looked at the start of that artist piece and you saw that it started the same way yours did, with a pencil sketch on paper, a really crappy pencil sketch, because that's how these things start, how famous art starts, and you see that yours is the same way, it can be super encouraging. Like, oh, I'm taking the same steps as them.
yeah,
Yeah. So if you compare yourself to the end product when you're only at the beginning, you're going to get discouraged.
yeah.
But if you
But if you
yourself,
compare the whole process,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So maybe it depends. Like it all just depends on what you're comparing.
yeah,
That's the real thing. Like if you want to progress, you got to compare, because it's like if you're not like it is as a scientific quote. I think it's like careful what you measure or something like that, or like I think that's a psychological thing. Careful what you measure, because like once you start measuring it, you're gonna like be obsessed about it or something. I don't know exactly what it's foretelling. It's like an omen almost. It's like be careful what you measure. Don't measure everything.
yeah.
But yeah. No, I think yeah. So you just gotta be careful what you're comparing.
Yeah.
That's the real thing, I think. Cool. Colton, I think we did an hour and 41 minutes, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a podcast experience right there. Pretty great.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have an end thing. Why not? Well, we're Free Flow Academy. We are a multidisciplinary performance art gym where we do parkour, aerial silks, and martial arts, and many other things. New things are adding all the time. We're swapping up what we're doing all the time. But those are the staples. Those are the big things we always do. Half of our facilities parkour. We were the largest Northern California. We were the largest parkour gym in Northern California for a while, but since we moved, I don't know if that's still true.
I don't know. But this gym is way cooler.
Yeah. Yeah, we're keeping the dream alive, climbing on stuff, jumping on things, doing it the way the French intended. Yeah. Find us online at Free Flow, whatever, social stuff. Yeah, it's probably Free Flow Academy, because Free Flow isn't that crazy. Or it's a name someone was going to come up with and goes like, oh, that's a really good name.
Yeah.
I should use that. You know, so Free Flow Academy, that'll be us on the Instaface and the bookgram.
Yeah.
So, cool. Colton, any place people can go to find you, find your art, find your stuff? Do you have anything ready to be looked at?
Yeah, not really yet.
Not really yet. Okay, we'll have Colton back, and by then he'll have a something on the meets on the socials. So, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, good night, everybody. Woo!